Welcome to Executive Insights, where we sit down with Columbus's C-suite, business owners, and entrepreneurs. My name is Nick Fortini. I'm the president and publisher of Columbus Business First, and I'm joined by Ty Marsh, who's the executive director of the Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio, or SWACO. Welcome.
Right. Correct. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. I don't think people realize, I shouldn't generalize, but I don't think a lot of people understand the enormity of what you do for Central Ohio. Could you talk just a little bit about SWACO and what you guys do?
I mean, generally, the less that people know about what we do with waste collection, the better. If you're doing a good job, if nobody knows what you're doing.
Right.
But several years ago, we really kind of changed our paradigm to where we do run the landfill. And we do take in 5,000 tons of waste per year. That's almost all from Franklin County generated. But we have amped up our recycling efforts to divert more waste from that landfill. And we've also tried to tie it into an economic development initiative so that we're trying to leverage the waste stream for economic benefit. Mm-hmm. And so in doing that, that's a lot more education and outreach about the right way to recycle, about the value of recycling. So thus our profile has been raised by virtue of our new mission statement and what we're trying to achieve.
Well, let's talk about that. Why is that good for the economy, having a recycling mentality?
It's good for multiple ways. First of all, you want your landfill, which we really see as an asset to Franklin County. We want your landfill to last as long as it can, as many years as it can. That's really the difference between a publicly owned landfill and a privately owned landfill. Privately owned landfill, you make your money by filling it up. Public, you're providing a public service, and so therefore you want it to last as long as it can, because once you lose it, then the waste is going to have to be trucked 50 miles or more. That means a business expense. That means a residential expense. You have to pay for that. So maintaining a landfill for as long as you can is a good economic value. But the second is, as you divert more materials from it to make it last, the materials are of value. And how do you sell them? How do you attract businesses locally that are going to use them, remanufacture them, and to a higher purpose? Mm-hmm. And that probably wasn't as prevalent many years ago, but it's increasingly prevalent now by so many examples of things that are going on out there. You read about so many companies that are now doing sustainability practices where maybe they didn't before, or they're doing recycling in the office, or residences want more food waste pickup and all kinds of activities. We feel SWACO, as a solid waste authority, and our district is really Franklin County. That's part of our mission, and that's part of our purpose. We redefined our mission to say that we manage our community's solid waste stream to enable growth in our community, to enable prosperity, and to provide environmental stewardship. Okay. And we're excited by that new mission.
So I learned a term this week from you, actually. What is a recycling-reliant business?
Recycling-reliant business generally is a company that uses recycled materials in their manufacturing process. So therefore, they need those materials to be able to produce what they're going to do. An interesting story is advanced drainage systems here, and it's in Hilliard. Do you know that they're the second largest recycler user in the United States? Right here. They make all their pipe from recycled plastic materials. And that's a marketing effort that we should really promote in our community because it's right here. Mm-hmm. So they're not recycle reliant, but the manufacturing process purposely uses that because it's a better business proposition for them. It's a better price for them. And in turn, it's a better environmental equation as well.
And you have an initiative to attract and expand businesses like that in Central Ohio?
What we're doing, again, under our mission statement, in our strategic plan, we had a strategic plan under the principle of leveraging the waste stream for economic benefit. And so we developed an economic development strategy. And we hired a former executive from Jobs Ohio to put it together. And so it really has four components. The one is your traditional business retention and expansion. We did a study that documented there are 400 companies in our region that either use recycled products in their process or are reliant on those materials for use. Those 400 companies employ 5,000 people. The direct and indirect economic benefit, that's over $2 billion. So it's a large industry in Central Ohio. A lot of people think of recycling as just kind of a mom and pop operation. It's a large business, and so we're working with all of our municipal economic development professionals and organizations to say, hey, here's this list of 400 folks. We'll do research, but let's do a visitation program to tell them, what can we do to help you grow and expand. So that's the first element. Mm-hmm. The second element is business startups. We want to see a lot more business startups in that entrepreneurship sphere in terms of recycling. And so we don't do that per se at SWACO, so we entered into a partnership with Rev 1. And how fortunate we are to have that asset in our region to be able to do this. And when we met with them, like when we met with the band strainers and everybody the first time, they always say, yeah, what are you doing here? Because you just run the landfill. And when we explain our vision for how we want to leverage this waste stream, then we get excited because it turned out, for example, with Rev 1, they had clients in the food industry who were very interested in food waste initiatives. Mm-hmm. And that's one of our initiatives. Food waste is the largest component of material that's going into landfill every day. So we want to get that out. So we got an initiative going with them where we're using our grant program and they're using their marketing to see if we can find companies that would go into their system to attract further capital and venture and move on up. Mm-hmm. As they're doing that for the food waste initiative, they're also creating a hybrid model for the entire recycling industry. So we're very excited about that. We think there's tremendous opportunity, and that opportunity is happening now. And then the fourth component is a project we actually already had underway, and that's taking a closed landfill, which we call the model landfill, and it's right along 71 south of downtown. Sure. Where the Phoenix Golf Course used to be. We needed to generate some money to take care of that site because even though a landfill is closed, it still requires maintenance. Mm-hmm. So we did a feasibility study and we signed a contract for a company to build a solar energy farm there. It's going to attract 50 megawatts of power, which would be enough to power 50 homes on that site. So it's taking a piece of property that wasn't producing much of anything and is going to generate enough electricity to generate a lot of homes. AEP has already agreed to buy the energy. So now the company that we work with is going to build it is in the process of a lot of technical details. Mm-hmm. For us, it's a win because it'll generate non-tipping fee revenue. And the more non-tipping fee revenue we generate, the less you pay to tip to dispose your waste. Mm-hmm. So one, it's going to be a generator of revenue for us. Two, it'll be a job producer that'll be privately built, privately operated. That's our public-private partnership that we have with BQ Energy. And three, it's right along 71, so it's going to be an educational billboard, if you will, mm-hmm. of coming into downtown Columbus. I mean, you're going to see their beautiful skyline, and on your right, you're going to see a 80-acre solar field. And we think that makes a positive and tremendous statement about sustainability in Columbus and what values we place on that. Mm-hmm. So that's our solar project. And then our fourth component of our economic development strategy is the business attraction. So we have a 350-acre site on our campus that we'll never put the landfill there, that we are trying to develop as a green energy business park.
Okay.
We want to put a sorting facility, a recycling sorting facility on that site, and then attract companies that would use those materials in their remanufacturing process. We're one of the only solid waste districts in America that we're aware of who's trying to do this, but we know there's a real market for it. And I'll give you an example. Procter & Gamble announced, I think a year ago, that by the year 2030, all of their product will be contained in packaging that is made with recycled materials. So, for example, your Tide laundry detergent bottle will be made with recycled materials. Where are these companies going to get these materials? How are they going to manufacture them? Those are the types of companies that we want to attract to our green energy park. So we're excited about all these components because it still comes back to, we think there's real value in the waste stream, and we want to leverage that for purposes of extending the life of the landfill, make sure it lasts as long as it can, so we want to divert as much as possible, but also creating economic growth and opportunity.
Are you encouraged by the progress that has been made in your industry? Or what are you most encouraged by, and what are you most discouraged by?
I'm very encouraged by businesses that are really starting to step it up, because particularly large companies, then therefore that means they're going to be buying certain materials, they're going to be advancing that economic cycle. We're very encouraged by that because that's increasingly going on. We get calls every day from just businesses who want to do recycling in their office and how do they go about it and all that. So I'm very encouraged by that. I think that I'm not discouraged, but the public policy end of it usually lags until the demand gets to a certain point. And I appreciate that and respect that. We just feel that we in Central Ohio are on the cusp of really advancing this, that a lot of other communities aren't, and we want to take full advantage of the opportunity. And we believe we can.
Any other things we should know about Sueco that we don't?
Well, one of the things that to be aware of is I talked about our goal here is to divert more materials from the landfill. And by diversion, that's really recycling, reuse, repurposing. Our diversion rate, our recycling rate in our district is 50%. It's up from 32% over the past years. We have one of the highest diversion rates in the Midwest. And that's something that we're really proud of. It's something to market, to attract residents and businesses. But we want to get to 75% diversion by the year 2032. And to get there, we're very targeted in what we're doing. We got a big food waste initiative. That's 15% of the waste stream that's going into the landfill now that can be taken out. There's a lot of plastics that are in increasing demand that are going into the landfill. How do we get those out? How do we educate folks? So, but that's what we're all about. We're really trying to divert as much as we can, and then provide economic value for it, as well as environmental value.
Great. Closing thoughts.
Boy, if you got to recycle the right way, it really starts with the individual and the individual company by what you put in your recycling bin. We've got our recycleright.org website that'll tell you everything you need to know, and call us. But the more that we can recycle, the better it helps our environment, and the more it's going to help our local economy. So we're very excited by that, and very appreciative that I have the opportunity to talk about this, because most people don't know about it, or maybe they're somewhat aware and they just don't know exactly where to turn.
Well, we appreciate you coming in and telling us, and we thank you for what you do and what Sueco does.
Thanks.
Ty Marsh, Executive Director of the Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.